Herbie is no Human Torch, unraveling the epic flop of Marvel's 1978 Fantastic Four fiasco. H.E.R.B.I.E, the highly engineered robot built for interdimensional exploration, was no substitute for the Human Torch. Young children watching television and eating cereal in the fall of 1978 outright rejected Herbie's inclusion in the new Fantastic Four animated series. With the live-action debut of the long-forgotten robot in the MCU's big-budget retro-future reboot, it's time to take another look at H.E.R.B.I.E and explore what motivated all the Herbie-centric criticism. A return to the TV airwaves. Marvel scored Saturday morning success in the 1960s with the popular, albeit primitive, Fantastic Four cartoon. The show's success helped spawn the wildly popular 1967 animated Spider-Man series, which continued to perform strongly in syndication. DC Comics had its hits with Filmation Studios in the 1960s, and the two companies collaborated on the underrated New Adventures of Batman in 1977. Hanna-Barbera took DC characters to new heights of popularity with 1977's The All-New Super Friends Hour and 1978's Challenge of the Super Friends. Live-action television doors opened thanks to CBS' The Incredible Hulk and Spider-Man shows, so Marvel wanted to get back into the Saturday morning cartoon business to collect some licensing revenues. The Fantastic Four seemed like a wise and safe choice, and NBC agreed. Marvel had a hit with an FF cartoon before, so why not produce a new one? Marvel chose a reputable company to partner with Patty Freeling Enterprises, the studio that created the remarkable Return to the Planet of the Apes and later collaborated with Marvel on the excellent Spider-Woman cartoon series in 1979. Patty Freeling Enterprises did a fine job updating the Fantastic Four for the late 1970s Saturday morning lineup. What a shame the Human Torch didn't get an invite to the show. Why H.E.R.B.I.E? The big myth at the time, a myth that persists, is that television executives feared small children would set themselves on fire to mimic the Human Torch. That wild excuse is far better than the mundane one behind Herbie's inclusion. Universal Studios made the Bill Bixby/Lou Ferrigno Hulk series for CBS, and the studios procured the rights to the Human Torch for unrealized projects. However, nothing materialized, although Universal did complete a Fantastic Four script in 1979 that ultimately went nowhere. While Marvel Comics and Patty Freeling moved forward with a Fantastic Four series, they only had the rights to Mr. Fantastic, the Invisible Girl, now the Invisible Woman, and the Thing, which collectively comprised the Fantastic Three, not the Fantastic Four. The team needed one more member. Instead of promoting an established Marvel hero to the role of the Fantastic Four, the creatives made H.E.R.B.I.E. The influence is obvious. Star Wars was extremely popular, and the comic book series earned significant profits for Marvel. Adding a robot inspired by Star Wars seemed like an easy choice. Easy? Yes. Inspired? More half-baked than inspired. Patty Freeling did H.E.R.B.I.E no favors by positioning him as a non-member member in the opening credits. The credit sequence retells the FF's origin, but only with Reed, Sue, and Ben aboard the troubled space flight. Kids learn cosmic rays gave the crew their powers, and H.E.R.B.I.E joined the team a few weeks afterwards. Toss in a cute droid-like robot, and that adds up to the Fantastic Four, right? No. There's no Fantastic Four. It's the Fantastic Three plus a boorish robot. The uninspired inclusion is a weak throwaway. Opting for a Star Wars-like droid to appeal to kids flops because H.E.R.B.I.E lacks the childlike and charming qualities of C-3PO and R2-D2. H.E.R.B.I.E is pretty obnoxious. While you can't say H.E.R.B.I.E lacked personality, you can say that his personality turned off young viewers. Overall, the series had solid scripts, challenging villains, and a serious tone that was missing from the worst episodes of Super Friends. But H.E.R.B.I.E distracts. The very first episode features H.E.R.B.I.E spewing his condescending brilliance, earning the ire of the Thing. The series transfers the bickering friction between the Thing and the Human Torch to a dynamic between the Thing and H.E.R.B.I.E. It doesn't work because, unlike the Human Torch, H.E.R.B.I.E is unlikable and contributes nothing to the team. When the Thing makes a disparaging remark about H.E.R.B.I.E, you agree with him. Herbie holds the series back from being a fan favorite because his know-it-all, mistake-free characterization makes kids wish his batteries would run out. What powers does Herbie have? He's allegedly super smart, hovers like a drone, and talks a lot. Big deal. He's too passive and lacks the action-oriented hot-headedness of the Human Torch. Reed and Sue knew when to jump into the fray, but they were the team's level-headed thinkers while the Thing and the Human Torch jumped into action without hesitation. Herbie is a passive character, which leaves the Thing to carry more action. Such a decidedly unfantastic robot hanger-on character drags down an otherwise excellent animated series. Herbie appears in the comics. Wisely, Marvel Comics actively sought to capitalize on the publicity from the new Fantastic Four animated series, which had infomercial potential for comic book sales. Let's be honest, millions likely watched the television series every week, while the Fantastic Four monthly comic book circulation was around 186,000 copies sold in 1978. The television series could give the sales numbers a boost, bringing in new readers introduced to the comic book through the TV show. So, no surprise that Herbie popped up in the comic book. Fantastic Four number 209, August 1979, presents a typical wild cover. The FF struggles with an outer space that is tearing them apart with its tentacles. Inserted into the dramatic cover is a small inset image of Herbie, heralding the robot's debut in the comic book, with the warning "Beware. He's not what he seems to be." The issue hit the newsstands in May 1979, so the animated series had been airing for several months. Herbie TV infamy made him familiar enough to encourage some casual sales from non-comic book buying kids or their parents. What about the 186,000 regular readers, many of whom are older and likely despised Herbie? The "Beware" exclamation suggests this. It is as if Marvel said, yes, we need to include him in the book for marketing purposes, but he isn't the sorry droid you see on TV. In the tale, trapped in the Sargasso of space, writer Marv Wolfman and illustrators John Byrne and Joe Sinnott pick up on past issues' fantastic action. The team from the world's greatest comic magazine has little time to recuperate after their battle with Dr. Doom, as they now must face the looming double threat of the sinister Skrull Empire and world-devouring Galactus. The Fantastic Four need help, and Reed invents it. Or rather, he slaps together a robot assistant named Herbie based on the cartoon show that airs in the Marvel Universe. In Marvel Comics TV land, Herbie mysteriously replaced Johnny Storm, and the comic reveals the mystery of why Johnny didn't sign away the licensing rights to his name because he was busy somewhere else on another adventure, likely with Spider-Man and Marvel Team Up, so the cartoon producers made a new character to replace him. Yes, Marv Wolfman went there. He slyly weaved in the truth. Licensing issues led to Herbie replacing the Torch, while using Ben Grimm's The Thing to express frustration about the annoying creep of a robot. The Thing's frustrations grow as he slowly suspects there may be something ominous about the otherwise cute robot. Without giving too much away, future issues will explain why it is wise to be wary of Herbie. He's not the same goofy character that you see on TV. Marv Wolfman knew how to depict Herbie perfectly. He acknowledged the awkwardness of Herbie's presence on the TV show while crafting a comic book tie-in version that may be more mysteriously malevolent than the obnoxiously unlovable Saturday morning version. From the small screen to obscurity to the big screen. The 1978 Fantastic Four animated series deserves positive mentions for its solid scripts and rousing action. The show also featured classic Marvel villains, such as Dr. Doom and the Sandman, whereas the Super Friends rarely used iconic bad guys until they debuted the Legion of Doom and Challenge of the Super Friends. Unfortunately, the new Fantastic Four was not renewed for a second season, leaving only 13 episodes for minimal syndication repeats. Of all the Fantastic Four animated series, this one might be the least remembered. Or worse, remembered for the wrong reasons. Sorry, but Herbie was no substitute for the Human Torch, and his boring character hindered an otherwise excellent program. So what led Marvel Studios to update Herbie for Fantastic Four, First Steps? We could say that it's a Generation X nod to the old series, a funny little joke that the 50-year-olds in the audience will get. That's a nice little humorous touch, and it may even get older fans into the ticket lines. Could there be more to Herbie's inclusion beyond an in-joke? Is Marvel Studios taking a page from Marv Wolfman and has plans for Herbie beyond comic relief? We'll know that after spoilers from the movie come out.